How's it going, ScrubGamers? Welcome back to another episode of Previously in DBS here on ScrubGames. First thing I do want to say is apologies for the delay in the episode, and there was an episode last week. And if you've watched my other videos that have been out, I was ill for the beginning of last weekend until recently on Friday, and so that's why there wasn't an episode last week. And basically, this episode is what would have been last week. So once again, all we had really for news last week was it's combined for this week and last week. All the only news we've had is of the Mythic booster stuff. So this is the last few reprints and stuff for products on that. So without further ado, we get into the last few bits we had for the Mythic booster. I know the set is out in some places in the EU, but I know some of the places haven't got it yet, and it's still nice to see what was revealed in it. So one of the new ones we got was of Sun Goten Awakening the Beast. So this is an old promo, I think, back during the Surge format to help with the Red Broly leader to get Dawn and Legend in the drop. And it gives with the whole green yellow version of it, and yeah, it's not the greatest reprint. It's because it only specifically works with an archetype that doesn't really use it. But they're reprinting a lot more promos, so it made sense, especially with the fact there's a lot of Broly stuff in here as well. Art's really nice, and it's weird that on the original one it was a Sun Goten Awakened Beast, but it had Goten and Trunks, and the new one shows it's just Goten. Then we have one for the Piccolo Unison. So back during, I think it was set 11, we had the SS4 Gohan and Piccolo pre-release promo leader and Unison, and in the set they've decided to reprint just the Piccolo Unison, which is a good one because it's a good black Unison, especially helpful back when Dark Broly was more prominent, because it was a great way to play a one-cost Unison, get through swings on the yellow Vegeta Unison, and also did a nice thing of using its +1 to ditch Dark Broly in your hand to draw new cards, so you can get something one of them in your drop that you wanted, so you can play it for free from the drop, and just allowed you to get an extra swing as a Unison through to get out Vegeta. Because for every 2 markers on it, it gets 5k power in your turn, so it meant that just playing it for 1, then using the +1 made you 15k. And it's just nice to see that the new art is really nice. It's just a bit odd that they've reprinted this and not the leader as well, so they've only done a lot of things in pairs. But still, it's best appreciated with some brand new art, because the old art wasn't great because it was a dual one where if you don't play the leader, they go well with the leader, but most people didn't play the leader and just played the Unison, so it looks a bit weird. Now you've got the art where it doesn't look like it's missing part of another piece to add to it. Then we got another one, as you've probably seen with the set, it's the reprint is a reprint set, which is just reprints, and the set is supposed to be covering set 1 to 9, and including stuff all before the Unison Warrior blocks, all things before set 10. And also promos as well. So promos aren't just from before set 10; they're just promos in general that are really good, that people want reprinting. Well, most of them were, and one of them is Surprise Attack Neutron General. So this is a old TP Neutron, which is used in most different versions of Cinch General. Using the Aqua version, use the Control version. It's a really good card, and yeah, being a TP promo, it's quite difficult to get, especially at the time. Back in set 11. And they've done it with brand new art, so the art looks really nice as well. It's some people, if they wanted to foil it out and couldn't get the winner stamp one, then there's a new option as well for it. And just having more access to cards means if you want to play Shadow Dragons, there's less promos you need to acquire to play it, which is always nice. So there's too many promos in this game. And then another one we had was Launch. So got the reprint of Launch Feminine Wilds. This is the TP launch that a lot of people was really helpful for in the deck to help have more options to flip over. You have this with the SR launch and the Bulma, but being a TP was not as great, as easy to pick up, especially with how TPs were after the Unison Warriors blocks set up, where you got 1 pack per tournament, where you could get more before, and there's a lot more cards in the set than before, where it used to be 8 cards in a set. You can get one of 4 non-foil. And now it's 16 and more cards. And Launch was a very prominent one because it was on a deck that was a high tier, a top tier deck at the time. and it's like you really needed to help make the full use of launch. And now it's easy to get, so it's get reprinted in this, it's got reprinted in the event pack, and it's also being reprinted next year around March in the collector's edition. And you have a nice new art as well, so you have all these different options of art for it. It's a good reprint, and yeah, a nice nice art as well, ready with it. And then we have the one that most people wanted, and most people are like really happy, and probably one of the best things about this set is being able to get a reprint of SS3 Gogeta, Fort and Dark Empire. So this is a never TP promo that was in a set where it was difficult to get, and it's one of those really fantastic generic cards that just shouldn't have been in the TP, should have been the main set, or easier to get. And thankfully now it's easy to get now, but it's not going to take away from the winner art's value, but it just gives you more, like makes it so there's more of them out there to get, easier to acquire as well. It's a bit cheaper for people because it's part of one of those engines, not engine side. It's one of those packages that just be splashed on almost anything, because you can use this with saying Silence, the Zeno, one drop skillesses, and then bomb, add this in. Not too bad, and it just makes it Gogeta Zeno a lot more budget friendly. The fact that this is going to be easy to get because it's only in a rare slot. Then we have one of the other campaign rares back from Theme Booster 3, being like, as we previously seen, we got the Vegeta reprinted, and now we have the Chilai the Beautiful. This is a card that was probably out of the set, all of them apart from the red one were usable and quite strong, and this one was a reason because it just it was on board. If you want your opponent's battle cards is KO'd, they have to discard a card, which is quite nice once per turn. And this is a nice thing to get because it's a pretty good card in the Chilai Wish deck, which is one of the few Wish decks that are still viable when played. And it's fantastic new art, more visible. Like I didn't realize that she had a pistol by her head. I thought that was a ponytail for some reason, even though I remembered what Chilai looks like. But it's like nice new art, a lot less of this weird purple aura. You can actually see clearly the character on it. Then once again, another good TB room. I mean, most of these ones are going to be promos. We got another promo just like SS3 Gogeta that I was highly sought after and really wanted, and it's highly impactful in the meta game at the moment, and that is SS4 Bardock Fight Against Fate. So once again, just like with the Gogeta, it's not going to really impact much on the winner stamp of the card, but it's nice that it gives more of them out there for people to pick up, and makes it a little bit cheaper to pick up because it's one of the best overall cards in the game at the moment. Just giving yourself a 25k free attacker that can swing twice is absolutely fantastic. And then we have one of the Everlast ones for one of the Everlast ones for the promos, being another one that's fantastic, and is another way to make Gogeta Zeno a lot cheaper, and that is SS4 Gogeta Beyond All Limits. So this is one of the things, like you put this with the Vegeta one just to have like a really good overwhelm choice to grab back your Union Fusions, and this one was not too there, but not too difficult to get. But you needed more and more as goes by, and as it went further on to getting it, and being a set 11 card, and Gogeta Zeno Command set 12, and then the TP SS3 Gogeta Command set 13. It was becoming long out of print. Beyond the Limits is a very good card for it to have for the deck, and just the fact that it can just grab back like for free over on you, give you 30k beat stick, be Union Fusion fodder for the Gogeta Zenos, and also grab you back a Gogeta Zeno to then play if it's in your warp. It's very strong, and having a nice new art as well. I know there is the new winner art, but you have to basically do well a regional, which are now over as well, to get hold of that. And then you would need like most people, if they're playing it, they will more just one, which you would get. So it's just nice to get this brand new art of which is actually quite nice art as well. Like most of the reprints have really fantastic art. But that is all for the ever reprints. Then we had, when we finally got the two secret reveals, and the first one was quite like obvious of why it was reprinted, and that is, well, this was the, putting them in the wrong way, I apologize. But yeah, so one of the secret rares we got revealed is SS4 Vegeta Peak of Primitive Power. Now this is a secret rare that, to be honest, it's a very big disappointment in this being reprinted. Like, and most people know what the other one is, but like from a reprint sent, I know they mentioned that they didn't want to like screw over collectors with printing certain secret rares, and they wanted to be like quite cautious with how they reprint secret rares. But in a reprint set, what they're trying to do is to make it easier for newer players to get things like to help like players have good cards, reprinting very good cards. Like most of the cards in here, reprinted them very good. Like they could be my collector or competitive player, they're pretty good. But this secret rare is very lacking as a choice. Like, there's so many other better choices you could reprint that people might want. Like there's Awakened Power, you can get. Sure, that might be people might not want that reprinted, but that's a really good choice for it. There's also the Agent Destruction Broly secret rare that could have been a lot more use than that. There's so many other secret rares from between set 1 to 9, or before set 10, that could be a lot more useful and a lot more desired than this. Like this is a card that barely saw play even when it was released. Like it was quite expensive for what it is, and it's just such a bad choice. I don't understand why, but yeah, that's the one we went for. And then the other one being Cell Zeno. Like this one makes sense why it's reprinted, because it recently had a errata with one of the ban lists, so they wanted to reprint it with its new errata text, which as you can see, the quadruple strike is being removed from the card itself and been put into the auto. So it used to be a card it always had on when you played it. Now it only gains it when if you fulfill the auto's conditions to trigger. But the art isn't too bad. Like the show people, like it's a very Attack on Titan-ish theme, which I think is quite cool. But then, as people have noticed, it does like he's on the toilet taking a dump, which isn't great. But it is nice also to see what the old secret rare would look like, the old art, the original art would look like without all that gold foiling stuff, and it looks quite nice without just like the basic. Because from what I've seen from some of the spoils we've had and people releasing what the cards look like it's like a standard rare with the foiling on the original art, which is there's no gold foiling, it's just like a sheet of foil on it. But this one's not a bad choice. Like we can understand why I put it in there, because the errata, they wanted to have it with the new errata text, but also it's not too bad of secret player. But like it's got some playability value. In fact, it's still used, even though it's been errata, it's still a decent secret rare to use, and it is still a strong secret rare despite the errata. But yeah, these are the best choices. Like this one at least makes sense, where the SS4 Vegeta doesn't. But that is, you can't really stop it now as well even printed. But that is it for today's for this week's one. I think at some point we're coming up to a world soon, in about a week or two. I think even 2 weeks. I think we're getting worlds happening, and I think around that time you might get a trailer, because we're getting revealed at worlds when whoever wins. They're gonna get a set of the next set's leaders, I think, as well, like stamped. So I think around that time we might get a trailer for the new set, probably see all the new leaders in one go from the prizes, and yeah, looking forward to that. Like this recent set was quite interesting, like quite lackluster in terms of power and like what's in that. Most of the art stacks are quite terrible in the new set, but they've got some good standalone like generic cards, which is cool. But anyway, thank you for watching. Feel free to give a like if you enjoyed the video, comment down below if there's anything you want to comment, and also feel free to subscribe if you want to keep updated with videos on my channel. You can subscribe and then hit the notification bell to keep notified when my videos drop, if and when. And also it helps me get to my goal of getting to 1,000 subs. We're over a quarter of the way there, and every sub helps, and I appreciate it. Once again, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye for now.